Hello. I'm experimenting with content. I'm not sure what I'm doing. Who knows what's going on? The world is a very interesting place, so I thought maybe this week, since I was out last week, I thought this week I will do something totally different and do a grocery haul slash how I organize my meal planning throughout the week. We are pretty much an ingredients only house. My name is Dr. Catherine Hoffman. I'm a naturopathic doctor, and so I thought it would be interesting to sort of share how I go about doing our grocery shopping and meal planning and all this kind of good stuff. So I just got back from the grocery store. I have one, two, three, and a little bit bags full of groceries. We are really working on keeping our grocery budget down as best we can. And I have been averaging, or we have been averaging out about $600 a month. So I'm trying to bring that down much closer to $500 a month, which takes some doing, but it is possible. Today, I spent what, $143 and change on groceries. And this was a bigger week for me because last week I only spent $80. And so for the month, we're up to what, 353 total. So, and I do think what I got today is going to last us like a little bit longer than a week. So next week should also be a pretty light week. So I expect we should be able to get away with $500 this month on our groceries. I don't have particular dietary restrictions. I probably could, tune some things up a little bit, but for our lifestyle, what it is, what we need, this sort of thing, what we eat works for us. So, not medical advice. This isn't for everyone, of course, but I just thought I would offer a little bit of a sneak peek behind the scenes of how it is that we eat. One other piece to keep in mind here is that, like I said, I am watching our grocery budget and everything. Everything is very carefully notated and how much I spend, and I do plan meals based on budget, and I use AI on some weeks to sort of get our macros where I want them to be for the cost that I want them to be. And so that might be tip number one from this video. If you want to take something away from it, is put the cost per meal that you want to spend. And if you have macro goals that you're trying to hit, and plug it into an AI and see what comes back. I've had really good luck with this. We're averaging out at about 350 per serving per meal. And so that's what I have put into my AI. But I am working on losing weight. I had gotten to be overweight through COVID in the last few years. And so I am very carefully and fastidiously working on tracking everything. And I plan my meals mostly with that in mind, making sure that I'm getting enough food, getting enough protein, and also the micronutrients. So all of that said, I will stop babbling and show us what we got this week. I did my shopping at Winco Foods, usually because they are just price-wise, they're the best game in town. I don't know where else to go to get deals like you can get at Winco. We were Costco members and just we're spending too much money there, so we actually let our membership lapse, I think, in September, November, somewhere around there, and haven't renewed it yet. I can't figure out how to shop at Costco and keep it like friendly with what our budget needs to be right now. So there's that. I did get two things from Trader Joe's. I am guilty. I tried one of these already. Freeze-dried, oops, this way. Freeze-dried raspberries and raspberry preserves. I did not want to get the ones that they had at Winco because they had a bunch of corn syrup in them, and I just don't. Why? I don't want that. And so the ones that they had at Trader Joe's are just raspberries and sugar, water, pectin, citric acid, which if I was making them, that's what I would be putting in them. So that's what I got. Last thing before we get into like the bulk of this, the last thing is that this particular haul is a little bit more because tomorrow's Valentine's Day. Usually on Friday night, I make a nicer meal anyway because it's like Shabbat meal and that sort of thing. And being as it's Valentine's Day, I was like, oh, I want to make a little bit of extra. So I'm making raspberry cheesecake brownies and I'm going to make coq au vin for dinner tonight. And I got potatoes. We usually never buy potatoes, but like we don't have the kind that I want to use for that. So like I bought some things that I maybe wouldn't otherwise just because of that reason. But there's that. So that's the first two things. And then let's go meat because I want to get these in the refrigerator. We're big on chicken, trying to get our protein in, and it's not as expensive as other meats. Good protein, good macros. And then I save all of the bones and I make stock from the bones. I actually need to do that right after I finish filming this video. But I save the bones for stock, and then also if I am cutting off the skin of things, I will save that and render it down and have schmaltz, that kind of stuff, which I'm still learning how to do. That's very new for me, but that's kind of why I get what I get there. But for tonight, For our coq au vin, you're supposed to use chicken legs, but I couldn't find chicken legs the way that I wanted them. So instead, we have chicken breast with ribs. So there's that. This is actually extra. This is almost 6 pounds. I only need 4 pounds, so I'll probably take at least one of these out and freeze it for later. So we'll have that for if we need it at another time. We have some chicken thighs. This is 5 pounds of chicken thighs. I'm making a like Japanese fried chicken on Sunday, so that's what these are for. I will cut the skin off, like I said, save the bones, all that kind of stuff. And it's usually cheaper to get things that are bone in, skin on, because the labor hasn't gone into that to take those things off. So that's the other reason I get these. I will probably end up cooking only half of that on Sunday, and then the rest of it will be frozen for next week. And then chicken breast. We always have these around. I have I think I have like 2 bags full of pre-cooked chicken breast, because sometimes if we get behind on meals, usually at dinner, I'll make 4 servings. There are 2 of us in my family right now that we're feeding every day. And so for dinner, I'll make something with 4 servings. Half of it goes for lunches the next day. But if that gets off cycle, then I do keep extra chicken breast in the freezer for just such an occasion. So I will probably freeze at least half of that today and then keep the rest of it throughout the week for different things if I need it. And if I don't use it, probably by Thursday, I'll freeze it, all of it. And then we're having sausage and peppers this week. So I got some chicken sausages. I did not realize they had cheese in them. That's fine though. I really prefer Amy Lou sausages generally. They have a really nice chicken andouille sausage, but we get those at Costco. We're not going to Costco, so make do with what you have. That takes care of my meat bag. And then other refrigerated things. Bananas, that's not refrigerated. Cilantro. If you don't know how to store cilantro to keep it good for a long time, if you put it in a glass with water, cover it with a plastic bag and like close it up, put it in the refrigerator, it'll last for at least a week, if not 2. So that has been a game changer because I buy this once every so often and it lasts for a fair while. So that's really nice. We always get a bunch of yogurt. Breakfasts are often yogurt based. I like the Greek non-fat plain Chobani, and the reason I get this is because, like I said, I'm trying to be in a calorie deficit so I can get back to a healthy weight. And for 3/4 of a cup, it's 90 calories and 16 grams of protein, which is not bad, I'll tell you that. So I usually make breakfasts with these for both of us every day, so I usually get 2 depending on how much we've used in the last week. Also cottage cheese, my husband really likes it. I've been really into like protein dips as well, so they often have cottage cheese in them. I made one last weekend that was like cottage cheese, shredded chicken, taco seasoning, tomatoes, some corn, kind of mixed all that up, and it's really nice. Since I don't cook on Saturday, I really enjoy having a dip-like substance around because we can just kind of grab it and like graze on it throughout the day, and it's really nice. It has good macros. I'm not worried about calories and that sort of thing typically. And then, like I said, because I'm doing some extra baking for Valentine's, 2 butter. I didn't remember how much that we had, and we only have 1 stick in an empty box in the refrigerator, so it's good I got 2, but that is going to last for a while. And also cheesecake for cheesecake brownies, which I don't typically buy. But there's that. Eggs, of course, we eat a fair few eggs. I give them to the dog too for dinner sometimes to enhance his kibble. And actually I was going to get 2 of those and I said, no, you're overbuying as it is, so just 1 will be fine with 18 eggs. Wine for the coq au vin, which I also normally wouldn't have bought because we still have like 3/4 of a bottle from last weekend, but the coq au vin calls for an entire bottle of wine, so there you go. And then some greens. I usually throw these in our smoothies in the morning, so that's I'll do protein powder, yogurt, a banana, a solid handful of greens, some flaxseed or chia seed depending on what we have on hand, and that sets us up for the day. I think it's like 350 calories ish. It's usually like 40-ish grams of protein to get started in the day, so that works really well for us. I made an excuse. This is like, I never buy these. And I was thinking, gosh, I'm doing a haul, like maybe I shouldn't buy these, but this is real. Like this is what actually I buy and what actually we're going to eat this week. So because I do make dips, and I will make a dip for tomorrow, I'm going to make some cowboy caviar, which is like beans and corn and I don't know, peppers. It's the recipe I can find and link for you in the description. But I just wanted some chips. So I did go ahead and get some Luby chips. We never buy these. I probably won't buy, I don't know the last time I bought chips. We probably won't buy any again until the summer, maybe. We have a Father's Day camping trip we often go on, so probably for that I'll get some chips. But so there's that. This is a splurge for sure. Brussels sprouts, making some veggie bowls this week. So I got some fresh Brussels sprouts to cut up and roast. For that, I will make bowls with chickpeas. I have it all written down somewhere else, but it's like chickpeas, sweet potatoes, Brussels sprouts, carrots, like all this kind of good stuff. I'll probably make some quinoa too. Different kinds of mushrooms for different things. I forget what they're for. One is for, I'm gonna make an orzo, like chicken orzo on Thursday night. So I'm gonna use, I got baby bellas. Yep, baby bellas for that. And then white, just plain white sliced mushrooms. I don't remember what these are for. I have everything written down somewhere else, and so when I get to that recipe, I'll know that we'll have them. Typically, what I do when I meal plan meals from Friday to Thursday, and then do my grocery shopping on Friday. So, like, ideally, I would sit down on Thursday and go through the week, and I look at my schedule. Some days I'm at home, some days I'm at the office, and I'll see like I'll make meals that are much less prep time and just easier to throw together on days when I'll be getting home. I'll be leaving the office and coming home just in time for dinner. If something takes a little bit more prep, or like I have to roast something or this or that, I will set those meals for days that I am at home in the afternoon, because as soon as I'm wrapping up with patients, I can just pop in the kitchen, get stuff in the oven, and then like finish up my admin for the day. And so that plays a really big role in how I plan my meals. Um, and in my planner, the way it's set up is I write every day what we're going to have for dinner. And then from that, I go and make my list. I use the reminders app on Apple, put everything in for the week, go to my grocery shopping on typically Fridays. It does vary sometimes. And come home, put everything away, and then we're off and running. I cook Friday night dinner and then Saturday dinner on Friday. Always, because I don't cook on Saturdays. And then Sunday, I'm kind of back in the game and I cook every day. Dinner, breakfast, and dinner. Lunch is 9 times out of 10 leftovers from dinner the night before. I have really been enjoying toast lately. So I'm trying different breads. I really love sourdough, but trying to be in a calorie deficit, I just can't justify it. Having like 150 calories, depending on the brand and like, I think the one that we had gotten from Trader Joe's recently, it was like 120, 160 calories or something for like a regular size slice. And I don't want to do that. So I've been trying other ones. The keto bread messes up my GI. I can't eat that. So this week I thought we would try Dave's Killer Bread, which I don't know. I don't know if I've ever had. I know my husband used to get it when his kids were younger and lived with us. Thought we'd give it a go. It's 60 calories per slice. And I don't know why I'm into toast lately, but I am. So we'll give it a try. Honey, we're almost out of honey. We don't use it very often, but when we need it, we have it. And then some peanut butter. Sometimes I'll make yogurt bowls instead of smoothies and put some peanut butter in there. With those plastic bins too, because we have been shopping at Winco fairly exclusively periodically. Like I said, we'll go to like Trader Joe's or Fred Meyer or something like this, but I do save them and then bring them back and reuse them, because you can't, I would love to bring my own jars and that sort of thing, but they're not able to do a tear weight on your jars. And that, like at New Seasons around here, we have, it's one of our Whole Food stores. You can like actually take your jar to the cashier before you get your stuff, and they'll tear it for you. And so when you check out, they'll like put in the tear weights and then put in the actual, like the weight of what it is, and it does the math, all that kind of stuff. But Winco's not that fancy, which is fine. We love Winco, but that does mean that it is coming in plastic. It's not ideal, blah, blah, blah. Okay, we all know this. Fine, move on. I am going to be making, hopefully at some point, some chili oil, like the crunchy chili oil. My husband's really into it. I was just gonna buy it and he was like, no, you should make it. And so I'm gonna try and make it. It's very overwhelming to me. I feel a little bit intimidated by it. I'm a good cook, but just some things just feel like a lot. So anyway, I needed some more avocado oil for that. This is the veggie bag primarily. There's a couple canned goods in here, but maybe we'll see. This is a delicate setup. All the veggies, yum. I was shocked today myself. I usually just get red peppers because that's my favorite, but some of the recipes I wanted some color and different kinds of peppers. But guys, the yellow pepper was $1.48, and the orange one was $1.48. And I just watched her ring that up and I was like, you've got to be kidding me, because the red one is only 98 cents. So, and this is a small thing, but if you, like us, are really trying to get a handle on your grocery spending, like it is little things like that that add up a little bit. So I really hate that peppers feel like a splurge. Why is this a splurge? It's veggies, but whatever. I got them. Should be delicious. Better be delicious. So I got some of these, probably partially for our veggie bowls. Oh, that's the other thing I'm gonna make is like a coleslaw kind of thing. So some of those might go in there. I'm really into like the cucumber, like the Asian cucumber carrot salad with the dressing that's like soy sauce. I usually use coconut aminos instead of soy sauce, and like sesame oil and rice vinegar and I think a little bit of honey and some sesame seeds. Like everything's, I grated the carrots, chop up the cucumbers. It's so good. I made it last night and I'm like, I gotta make some more of this because just, it's so good. So we'll have that. Onions are just a pantry staple. Gotta have them. We still have some, but for what I'm making, they're like, we need extra. Also, oh my gosh, I'm like exceedingly casual today. Also red onion, which I don't often get, but some of the things, again, like I said, this week calls for it. And I had to get, I didn't have to, but I'm using the recipe from La Cuisine de Jardin, and I'll link it in the description. I'll let you know how it comes out, but for the coq au vin. And it takes six of these babies. Shallots? Scallions? I was getting confused. Scallions? Look at my receipt. I don't know what they are. Shallots? 6 shallots. That seems like a lot. Some people are really onion people and some people really aren't. I was hearing the other day about Kiana Doherty. I was watching one of her videos and she was talking about the millennial mukbangs that people are doing, and this woman who's eating like basically just Whole Foods for lunch, and people like, and she's eating a lot of onions. And I thought, gosh, ugh, I love red onions, but when I'm seeing patients in person, I like really can't have them. It's a bad idea. Red cabbage for coleslaw stuff for Sunday night. I also already have a green cabbage, so I'll probably use half of each for that. We always, part of our like refrigerator staples, we always have a big bag of carrots in there because carrots end up in everything. So, one avocado for my cowboy caviar. I don't think it's ripe. It might be. We'll see. I'm nervous about it. I'm so hesitant to buy avocados ever just because of that reason. My husband wanted some apples this week for snack, bananas. As I was leaving the store, I thought I wish I got some oranges. Got some potatoes. I'm gonna make mashed potatoes tonight with the coq au vin. I only got 4. I usually make too many mashed potatoes because my mother always makes like a giant bowl and could feed an army. So I'm really trying to like cut back and only make what we need. So 4 potatoes for that. And let's see. And then beans. So I've never had these. I probably shouldn't have bought them, to be honest with you, but they are chili pinto beans. Love pinto beans, and I usually do cook my beans from dried. I'll soak them and then cook them, but I just feel behind on everything and I've been so tired. So I thought, well, I'm just gonna buy it. It's fine. It's okay to just buy things that are ready to go, truly. And you can still be an ingredient household. So this has, actually this is okay for the most part. Prepared pinto beans, water, tomato paste, a little bit of sugar, soybean oil I don't love, chili pepper, salt, onion powder, cumin, garlic powder, calcium disodium EDTA to protect color, that's gross, spice, cayenne pepper, calcium chloride, which is a firming agent. Yeah, not ideal, but this is gonna save me a lot of time. I feel like I'm always pressed for time. I thought my door opened, but it's my dog, like, chilling. Depending on who I'm talking to, and this is just in general, like dietary advice and how intense people get about these kinds of things. It is not ideal to be eating things out of cans. It is not ideal because the lining often has that plastic that I'm gonna space on right now, probably because I've been eating too many canned things. And it just, the garbanzo beans sometimes are nice to get canned because if you've ever seen different recipes, especially for vegan foods and that kind of thing, they'll use is it aqua fetida, which is the liquid in here to kind of like an egg white substitute almost. And so it can be super useful, but I do know that when we're in like the naturopathic, holistic healthcare space, people are like, oh my God, you can't have canned goods, da da da. Not ideal, but we all do what we have to do. So in my case, like I said, usually I do make things from scratch, and like my beans I will soak and then cook. The garbanzo beans I'm making for a bowl, like roasted veggie bowls on Monday, and I'm gonna want to toast them and make them a little bit crispy. And I just was looking at my schedule and I'm like, I don't want to manage it. I don't want to manage soaking them, cooking them, and then I gotta cook them again to dehydrate them to make them crispy and just like, ugh. So I just got this. It's okay if you don't get canned stuff, that's also fine. Frozen veggies I really love because you avoid many of the issues with canned goods. I'm sure there's something else wrong with frozen veggies that somebody will at some point will be like, oh my God, don't do this. But for the most part, it's not a bad idea. What's this? Tomato paste, more garbanzo beans, and black beans. And my black beans and the pinto beans will go together in the, ooh, let me put it so you can see it because it's so pretty. Ha ha ha. These will go together in the cowboy caviar with whatever else I end up throwing in there. And that's the veggie bag emptied. My basket is emptied. And that's the grocery haul for the week. This will feed us, honestly, like I said, more than a week. We do not eat out ever. I think I last went out in December for dinner when I saw some of my friends from school. I don't know when the last time my husband went out to eat was. Sometimes he'll go out for work, and that's a different thing because like company and reimbursement and all that sort of stuff. But we really just eat at home, and we are strictly an ingredient household. I forgot I did get some sliced almonds. I also don't know, can't remember why I got these, but it was on the list. So I got them. So there's that. And yeah, it was $143.52, like I said. Not what I would have liked it to be, but with a few special things this week for the Valentine's Day. I don't think it's that bad. I do think that we will meet our goal of $500 this week, so we'll see. Anyway, I hope that you got something out of this, even if it's just permission to buy the food that you like to buy, eat out of a can here and there. It's really okay. We all are where we are in terms of our tastes and preferences and cooking abilities and all this kind of stuff. And some people have time to cook and some people have less time to cook. And so if you're adding in some prefab things here and there, cool. Certainly, of all the dietary advice out there, the fact of the matter is just the more whole foods you are eating, the better off you will be. Generally speaking, I recognize this is a very blanket statement and people may have a lot of issue with this for a lot of reason. Fair play. When I'm sitting one-on-one with folks and we're talking about nutrition and diet and all this kind of stuff, it's a very different conversation. I think that about does it. In the description, I will put the recipes that I will be cooking this week. If you want to hang out and play along, you are certainly more than welcome. I'd love to hear what you're eating this week. Do you plan your meals? Do you not plan your meals? Is it, anything goes? Are you, everything needs to be pre-prepared and you're thinking about being a more ingredients household, but you don't know where to start? Is it like you are fully on board and are just shocked that I am buying anything canned and that I have potato chips and bread in my cabinet right now? I would love to hear about where you're at and any challenges you're facing and how you're making things work for you. I also am really curious how much people are spending on groceries. I know I've seen a few videos out there where people are spending like thousands per month on groceries, which just blows my mind. And I have talked to people and they say, I can't afford to eat healthy because it's too expensive. And so part of why I've been wanting to make these kinds of videos for a long time because we do eat pretty healthy at some point. I do want to go through, I track all of my food intake on Chronometer. I do think it would be interesting maybe as an example to go through and see like, oh, what is it that I'm eating and how much does it cost for me to eat this way, because it doesn't have to be expensive. It does take planning and it does take forethought. And it takes me about half an hour every week to plan meals for the week and figure out, what I'm sick of having, what I would like to be having. I'll ask my husband periodically if there's anything in particular that he is wanting. Usually, no, it's fine. He always wants to have more fish, which I don't have a problem with, but I get tired of very easily. So we probably should be having fish more than we are just because I'm sick of it lately. But that takes me about a half an hour. It takes me about typically about an hour to do our shopping and another half hour, get home, put everything away, make things ready, and then meal prep. Honestly, so that's what, 90 minutes total. That's like for the week with those two activities, maybe 2 hours. We'll say 2 hours for meal planning and grocery shopping. And then it takes me, meal prep really varies. It could be anywhere from 15-20 minutes up to today I will probably spend an hour, 2 hours on cooking. Sunday I will probably spend about an hour cooking. And then throughout the week I think I will probably spend maybe half an hour a day on meal prep. Is that worth it or not? I don't know. You have to decide for yourself and see how to make things work for you. You can get meal plan templates out there that come with grocery lists, so you don't even have to think about it. It's just done. I'm too fussy and too much of a control freak, and I usually don't like the whole plan, and then I just throw the whole thing out because I'm like, I don't want one or two of these things, so whatever. But those exist, and they're really nice. They're also apps and programs, and AI. AI can shorten the process a ton. A couple years ago, I was using a particular program that would pre-plan meals for me and give me my grocery list automatically. It was a paid service, and I was using it because I was doing Whole30, and I wanted to do Whole30, but I couldn't be bothered to like think everything through. So that was really nice to have. I need to stop talking. My God, I have things to do. It's almost noon. I get my chicken marinating. I need to go to the gym and exercise. I have household chores I need to do today and get those knocked out. So let me stop talking, leave it at that. If there are other diet related things or food prep or recipe prep or any of that kind of stuff that you would like to see on kind of behind the curtain from somebody who is a naturopathic doctor and who takes their diet pretty relatively seriously, I would say. Let me know. Leave it in the comments below. If you like this video, hit the thumbs up. That's pretty straightforward. If you would like to see more of this kind of content, hit the subscribe button. Trying to figure out a way to make content that's helpful and useful for folks. And so those are fantastic feedback and would be so greatly appreciated. I can't tell you. Lovely to talk to you as always. I wish you the best. And until next time, take care.